Welcome to NHBC's Pride in the Job Awards here in London. Today we celebrate excellence in the house building industry and recognise the UK's best site managers. We're taking this opportunity to talk to some of today's guests and understand how they're addressing the industry's widening skills gap. Thanks so much for joining me today. I think it's really interesting to hear how people come to work in the house building industry. Luke, let's start with you. How did you come to have this as a career?
Yeah, thanks, Lorna. I suppose it's a mixture of exposure and mentors early on. My family were in trades. We had a family friend that was in civil engineering. Went along to a couple of sites and got some exposure early on. That got me interested. Had a good careers counsellor in secondary school, which was great. Went to university, got some exposure early doors to house building. And yeah, just got stuck in, never looked back, loved it.
And managed to progress on and through the ranks?
Yeah, exactly. And you probably picked up from my accent. I'm not from the UK, so I started out in Australia, came over to the UK, got exposure and understood the industry a little bit more here, and started with main contractor, moved into house building, and I started in the commercial side, so quantity surveying. And slowly moved up through the ranks through a couple of businesses and just went from there.
Good news, because we often hear that people are leaving the country to go and work in Australia in house building, but you've done it the other way round.
Yeah, I get asked that question a little bit. What are you doing?
You've come for the weather, right?
Yeah, exactly. I'm from Melbourne, so the weather's not too dissimilar. Yeah.
What would you say nowadays is the most favourite part of your job?
I still think my favourite part is actually from the very start. So seeing it when you're out walking a piece of land that you're interested in, you're about to try and buy, and then seeing that all the way through the design process, seeing it emerge on a piece of paper, then actually walking around it at the end, but also speaking to your customers who have actually bought it and really bought into that lifestyle and are enjoying it and living in it, bringing their families up in it. So I think that is the piece, really seeing it from concept all the way to fruition.
Knowing, like we say here at Pride in the Job, making your mark and leaving your legacy as well.
Absolutely, it is about that. You know, the pieces of city we build, a lot of us are building large developments, mixed-use developments that will certainly outlive us, but also is that opportunity for people to sort of live and play, and it's a great feeling, you know, drive past them or travel past in the train, and actually to have been part of that is really, really special.
Always good to know. And have you got a favourite part of your job, something you really enjoy?
I think the end result is the best part for me, to be honest. When we've built it and we hand it over, you see the people moving in, they're building their families, and it's the changes that they're getting from that. We're building like little communities for people, and that's, I think, one of the key factors for me. That's what makes it enjoyable. And
yourself and Craig have come in through inspired by your family, and we know that we need to bring more people into the house building industry, and we need to upskill the talent that we've already got in the industry. How is Barratt doing that, Craig?
I think it's through a variety of ways, really, and I think it is really about raising that awareness. I think there's still that stigma around the construction industry, and I think that's something that we need to tackle as a whole, really, to explain to people, particularly young people, that there's a huge amount of opportunities within the industry, not just as the early part of your career, but to really have a real great career for a number of years and take a number of paths. I think it's safe to say the opportunities are endless. And I think people just very much think about it being on site rather than thinking about the wider reach it has, you know, all the way from legals into sales, variety of touch points. And I think it's really about us getting that message out. And that's something we do a lot at Barratt's. We do a lot getting out and engaging with young people, not just people at university, but even younger. I spend a lot of time with the younger generations, and it's really good to see that, because they really like to engage with us as well. You know, favourite question is how much money you earn, but we do like to try and steer it away from that and really get that message across them that the opportunities are endless, and it's really about sparking that imagination rather than anything else. And once you've got the seed sown, I really think it's there to grow.
From the early days,
it's the early days for me, so it's really, really key, I think.
And do you feel you have got the skill set for the future and the talent that you need, or is it something that you're still working on trying to achieve, and maybe always will be?
I think that's the case. It is something we always will be. You know, it's the evolution of our industry, and our industry is continually to change. And I think that's the exciting part about the industry. But the skill set, we are constantly looking at how we can improve it and grow it. and we'll always continue to do that. We have got an ageing population. We have got an ageing specialism in the industry itself. So it was really about trying to harness those two together, getting that expertise in our business to teach the next generation.
We do know that the house building industry can offer a really varied career path, a really well-paid career path. But actually, what are the opportunities, Craig, do you think the house building industry has personally brought for you?
I think the piece for me, really, personally, is that it was a passion that I had from an early stage, and the support I got. Luke mentioned the mentoring side of it, and I think I've been very, very lucky in my career with the individuals I've worked with, and that's actually inspired me even further. So obviously the seed was planted with my father, but it's grown massively, and that's through the people I've worked with. I still find it today. The people I'm lucky enough to work with on a day-to-day basis are hugely inspiring. And to be able to get that out to the next generations, I think, is something that's absolutely key, and make sure we support people through their career journeys.
And Simon, do you feel the house building industry has brought you multiple opportunities as well?
Yeah, I think what we just said there really is spot on. As in, you can join in one industry, you can move through, you can have a whole life of different industries. Every 5 years you can change, move across. I think it's a question about breaking the mould that people see from construction. People think construction is just the site element of it, but they don't see the bit before, the after. And I think this is it's just trying to break the mould. And I think working with the youngsters, I think we've engaged with quite a lot of schools lately. And to be honest, when you've got the youngsters, I think first question is how much you earn, 100%. Second question is what car do you have? But then, it's changing their ideal as they're coming into it. So we're trying to change it as a group. I think we're getting there slowly. But unfortunately, we're sort of seeing more people leaving instead of joining, as in retiring. But I think the mentoring is key factor. If you have a good mentor, come through with the skills, bring people into the industry, and then we need to look after them through the journey.
And you mentioned there the people are leaving the industry as they retire and they get older. Is it something that you're concerned about at Vistry and trying to fill that skills gap?
Yeah, 100%. We're always trying to fill the skills gap. We've got a lot of academies now open. We're seeing the academies working really well. It's also not just for the young. So if people want to change careers throughout their journey, the doors are open. Come and do that. Come and change it.
And that's really important, isn't it, Luke? And you make a really good point there. People often say, how much do you get paid and what car do you drive and how big's your house? I'm sure is probably one of the questions you get as well. But maybe the question these children should be asking, or the future generation should be asking, how happy are you at work? Because you spend an awful lot of your time at work as an adult. So my question is, how happy are you at work? Because what opportunities has it brought you?
Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I love my role. I mean, ultimately we're building real homes for real people, and I mean, you can't get much more rewarding than that. And then there's a load of other, you've seen how people develop within our culture. I think we try and do things slightly differently in Mount Anvil and create an environment where people could thrive and, create an environment where construction and house building is actually an attractive proposition for people to come into the market. We also, do a bunch of estate transformation. So you see a different side of things where, you've got an existing community and you're engaging with that community and listening to their requirements and working with them to create a great place and a great future for themselves, their families and whatnot. So it's seeing the sort of the tangible kind of building and development come through from concept design through to fruition on site, when you've got people living in those homes, but seeing how people develop and how you're changing lives and whatnot. So it's really rewarding. It's one of the,
And we've spoken about young people, and you've all mentioned the word young people, but actually nobody yet has said the word apprenticeships. Tell me about apprenticeships in your organisation and what you're doing. Do you think they are the career path of the future? Because it used to be, unless you go to university, and you went to university, you took that route, but unless you went to university, you'd never make a success of yourself. But is the tide turning on that feeling now? Are apprenticeships the way forward?
I mean, there's so many routes into the industry, and apprenticeships is a great one. It's we can carve out like a really fulfilling, rewarding career, but financially rewarding as well. And apprenticeships is one route in. We run apprenticeships and local labour initiatives across all of our sites across London. But there's some other we do things slightly differently as well. Because I think if we just do the same thing and expect different results, nothing's going to change. And I think we're probably slightly guilty of that as an industry, just doing variations on the theme. So engaging a lot with young people from a work experience perspective. We do a biannual intake of kind of work experience from 16 to 18-year-olds. And we come at that via different channels like TikTok, things I don't know how to use, but for our next intake in October, we're not a huge business, but we've got 500 applicants for that for 20 places, and it's just really great to see that those young people that are really keen to get involved. Also, another initiative we've got called Makers and Mentors, which is in partnership with GLA, and that is around linking up people who are new into the industry or looking to get into the industry with more senior mentors, and that they can offer their advice and coaching and counselling on how they got to where they are. So it's just trying to mix it up and do things differently.
And that sounds like a great key as well as apprenticeship. You've all mentioned that you've had great people by your side, above you, working with you throughout your whole careers. Do you think, though, when it comes to apprenticeships, Craig, are they the answer to helping to close this skills gap that currently exists?
I think it's absolutely plays a key role in it. There's no question about that for me. And I think we often talk about apprenticeships with the young people. We're seeing it now that it is, we are seeing people changing their professions as well. So it's another opportunity to attract that different level of intake into our industry. But also as well, we talked about university, and normally that was a natural place to go. But certainly, Barratt's, we do degree or higher apprenticeships as well, which has actually proven very successful for us. And insofar as that it gives that individual the opportunity to be getting that hands-on experience, whilst obviously having the classroom-based learning as well. But more importantly from them, they're getting paid along the way. And coupled with that, they're also enabled to exit with a job already in post, where a lot of people coming out of university as well as being saddled with the debt. They've got that very difficult job of trying to get a job. And we just talked about the number of applicants there that are applying. So that is definitely a key barrier for individuals. So we're seeing a lot of success in that. We've also got a special and dedicated programme for ex-armed forces personnel, which has proven very successful for us. The transfer of skill set is immense, and the calibre of the individuals is exceptional. We've got some amazing site managers who are absolutely just flourishing, but it does come down to that support network, and that's one thing that we pride ourselves on at Barratt, is that support network we put around people to make sure they get the best out of their opportunity.
And are you meeting any of the apprentices yourself, any that stick in your mind and you think, you're going to do well, you're going to go far, or just seeing that moment where they really get it and it makes it worthwhile?
Absolutely. We do award ceremonies every year in Barratt Redrow, and it's great, given the number of employees we've got, to have them standing up on stage as Apprentice of the Year and speaking to them afterwards. It's just incredible, that enthusiasm that comes through, the pride. But also as well, they're just so engaging, and it is really great to see. And we've actually got a few apprentices that have come through the business into very senior jobs and directors as well. So it just shows you, with that right support and nurturing, and going back to what I said earlier, those career opportunities are endless.
And Simon, Craig is right, isn't he, in the fact that we often think about apprenticeships and we talk about young people, but career changes is a really good point. Are you seeing more people change career and move into the organisation?
Yeah, I think we do. We see quite a change there. Yeah, once you've done a job for a period of time, I think sometimes you want a new challenge. So I think it's nice when they've got the options to change and come through. And then it's a question of, can you mentor them through to the next stages? They say it's harder to learn as we get older. But it's also quite a nice challenge to get back into it and start learning something new. And I think every day is a learning day. So if we can take them forward with that, then we're 100%.
I think you've got great sales lines in you as well. You're pulling them all out today. So what would be your sell it to us now, for people watching this today, whether they're a career changer or they're a young person looking for what might be their future career, why would you say an apprenticeship in house building is definitely a good place to look?
I think a lot of people have the passion. If you have the passion for the industry, and I think if you come to us as in the group of construction, we will help you carry that through and take you forward. And to be honest, some of the stories that we have with the young apprentices, I look back at some of the ones we've had recently, and the story from where they've come from what's happened, how they've changed their lives, and the shining star, we would call them, coming through. And the journey they take from the life, for example, if you watch them over the 5-10 year journey, and they work their way through it, and it's just like dedication from them. And I think some people just need the opportunity to give them the opportunity to come into the industry, and don't be shy to knock on the door and try. We're there to help. We'll bring them through.
Craig, what about your sales pitch? But someone watching today thinking, I really don't want to go to work this morning. I'm kind of done in this job. I'm looking for my next venture. Why would you say come and think about having an apprenticeship with Barratt?
I think about it from my perspective. I certainly don't wake up in the morning and feel like that. I have a huge passion to come to work every single day, and I think that's the best message to get out to people. People actually seeing everyone enjoying themselves. Okay, we have tough days, of course, everyone does, but it's actually overcoming those challenges. And I think that's the best advert possible for a business, is to have those individuals who are championing the profession, but also championing the successes, but acknowledging the challenges we have. And I go back to it's a support network and creating those forums to be able to get that across to those individuals. And we certainly take a lot of time to do that. We love hosting people on site as well. For me, it really is about trying to get that passion across for what we do.
And would you say the same, Luke? They often say there's no job for life anymore, but actually in the house building industry, there probably isn't the same job for life because it offers so many different pathways.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm similar to the guys here. I absolutely love what I do. And if you find the job you love, you never work another day in your life, kind of thing is one of the sayings. And I think, to try and get some of that passion across to people who aren't in the industry, just create an attractive proposition to get more into our into the fold. And you're building homes, and look, there's no getting past it either. It can be really financially rewarding as well, and that's it's a key factor. So I think there's so many opportunities, so many different routes to get into the industry, and the industry image is changing. I think we're all working together to sort of remove some of the stigma around construction, and create environments where people can really thrive.
And interesting you mentioned your wife as well, because sadly women do make up a small percentage of the house building workforce. Have you ever been able to inspire her, or how do we inspire more ladies to come into the house building industry?
Yeah, I suppose so. So I've got 2 young daughters, and I'd love them to be involved in the industry in some way, shape or form in the future. I think we've mentioned a couple of times, is sort of a bit of a makeover of the image of construction, and that is happening. And it's about creating the environment, in the office, on the, on sites, where it's inclusive, and where people feel, of all walks of life and backgrounds and whatnot, where people can thrive. So and that's a key thing. We're sort of focused on bringing more women into the industry through various initiatives. Like I mentioned, the sort of work experience side of things. In the last intake, it was very interesting. We had 80% of our 16 to 18-year-olds in terms of the work experience. 80% were women.
Right, that's brilliant. And maybe it's that perception, isn't it, Craig, that what people think the house building industry is like, whether it be in the office or out on site, what the stereotype is. The industry has very much moved forward compared to what some people might view it to have done.
Absolutely. We've come on leaps and bounds. The evolution over the last few decades has been incredible. And I think attracting good talent into the industry is key, but attracting good female talent in the industry as well is absolutely key. And we're very fortunate in our business to have a number of excellent female leaders in that. And I think that's one of the key aspects. It is about having those role models to be able to demonstrate to the outside world that there are opportunities there, but also to support those people who are coming into it. And we've got a couple of individuals who are just, absolutely thrive on that. And it's inspiring to watch and listening to them. But also as well, they chair like networks we have the Catalyst program, which is a female support network. And that is about raising the awareness across the whole of the business. And that works really, really well. But also as well, that enables them to collaborate with other partners, including the NHBC, where they're able to therefore spread that word even wider. And I think that's what we need to be doing more of. Making sure we've got the right facilities on site as well, not just for females, but for everyone. Making that inclusive place to be is something that we've all been focusing on enormously, and we'll continue to do so as we progress.
And Simon, you have become my sales guy today, just so you know. So thinking about ladies and women, how we're going to bring them into the house building industry. For those ladies watching today thinking, it's not a career I've ever considered, or maybe thinking, you know, I've got a dad that works in the house building industry. Is it a career path I want to follow him into? What would you say to them?
And I would say come and try, you know, come down, try, see if you like it. I think the stereotype has changed over the years. It's taken a long time to change. I think one part of the construction is still quite siloed. So people looking out, looking in, because we sit behind a hoarding or we sit behind a fence line, there's a barrier there that's not really there. So I think the people need to come and have a look a bit deeper, come and see what's going on. I think the support that we can give, I think the facilities you mentioned is true. I think the facilities we've had in place for a while now, but people just don't see it. And I think it's about opening the doors and letting people come in. We do like an open site sometimes, we find is quite good. And to be honest, seeing the youngsters come through, especially some of the young ladies coming in now, and I think our subcontractors are coming through with some good apprenticeship schemes as well. It's not just what we're delivering, it's what our subcontractors as the global construction are bringing through.
And Luke, are you trying to seep it into your daughter's ears? You know, you want a career in house building, it's definitely a path you want to go into.
They've got plenty of Lego, and there's actually a construction club, after school construction club at school.
And it is things like that though, isn't it?
No, exactly.
Is where you need to start from the ground up, really.
Yeah, exactly. And I think with my eldest daughter, she's got some natural interest around building things, out of Lego and Duplo or whatnot. And that's probably the key is for women that coming into the industry, understand and focus on where your strengths are. Look at where that you can match that up to the opportunities across the industry, because there's so many different routes in, so many different facets from, design through to the commercial side of things, through to construction on site, through to, sales, marketing, and finance. It's so multifaceted, our business and what we do.
All of your words have been truly inspiring today, and I'm sure people watching this will think, actually, you've made me think about things I've never actually thought about. Craig, just final word from you here about, if those people are feeling inspired, what's the next steps? What do they need to think about doing, and how do they go about making this a reality for their future careers? I
think it goes back to what Simon was saying. It was really, reach out, make contact. There's a huge amount of information out there and a huge amount of support, as we've all chatted about. I think the piece for us at Barratt London is that we've set up a dedicated website at barrattcareers.co.uk, which has got loads of information about the opportunities that are available, but also given that way in as well, just to have that opportunity to speak to people. But also as well, come to the events that are run, the outreach programs that we have, or just drop an email into the company. We're always open to have those conversations, and we're always open to support people as well. So we really would want to say, it's a great industry working, come and have a chat, see what can happen, because the opportunities are endless.
And your 3 words, Simon, that would sum up the house building industry for you?
Oh, that's a very good question, that one. I love that one.
Have one each. Take a word each. What would your word be?
It's a crazy industry. It's a fun industry, and it's rewarding. So for me, I would go with passion.
Passion is a great one.
I think I'd follow up with that with definitely rewarding.
And Luke?
Yeah, I'd say opportunity.
It's brilliant. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed it as much as I've enjoyed talking to you. As we celebrate achievements here at NHBC's Pride in the Job Awards, it's inspiring to know that so many people are dedicated to ensuring the future quality of homes.